welcome back to CityLine. After a little bit of musical chairs, we have Elliot and Alyssa from the Comfort CityLine Cafe on the comfy couch. Yes, there will be a quiz after this, so take notes. Elliot Barnett, you are with the Home in Tacoma project for the City of Tacoma. Welcome back.
Thank you. Wonderful to be here, Amanda.
Good to have you in the house, and you brought with you this beautiful little smarty over here. Alyssa Torres, Senior Planner of the City of Tacoma. Welcome back to CityLine, my dear.
Thank you.
And I just missed a chance to hear you talk about all this beautifulness, so excuse me if I ask you to repeat yourself, because this is good news, what the two of you are doing right now. So first off, Elliot, if somebody has just moved to Tacoma, and we know that happens all the time because we are a very livable city, what is Home in Tacoma?
Right. Well, yes, first of all, welcome for the new person.
Yeah.
And we are trying to make sure that you can find housing that you can afford and that you will enjoy and be able to live in the neighborhood that you will love.
Yeah.
So Home in Tacoma is a project that is revisiting our rules for what can get built where throughout the city. It's called zoning.
Yes, that word.
Yes. And it's a major initiative the city's been working on for about 4 years, and we're updating the zoning so that it meets the needs of our current residents and our future residents on into the future.
I love that. Well said. So when we look at that word zoning, and in my mind, that word has so many definitions and it has so many ripple effects. What are the biggest changes people will expect in terms of this new zoning? What will surprise them?
Sure. Well, if you go around the neighborhoods of the city today, you'll see that the majority of our land is actually single-family neighborhoods.
Right.
And that's been, the interesting thing is that that has not always been the way that neighborhoods are built. But in the 50s, Tacoma adopted zoning rules that said single-family houses with a yard and 2 parking spaces, that's the rule, and that's what we're going to have.
The dream.
Right, the American dream.
There it is.
Right. And today, the majority of our housing units are detached houses. However, those houses are getting more and more expensive, especially compared to our incomes, which are not going up as fast. So, and also our neighborhoods are full according to those zoning rules because there's already houses in most of the city. So Home in Tacoma is changing those rules and allowing more housing to be built. There's a term that you might know, Amanda, middle housing.
Oh, yes.
Familiar with this one?
I sure am.
So middle housing refers to smaller, attached housing types, things like backyard buildings, things like row houses, cottage courtyards. There's a range of these different middle housing types. And so you might be surprised in years to come to see that some of those middle housing will now be built in our neighborhoods throughout the city.
Well said, well said. So when are the decisions being made on this proposed package, like the timeline?
Oh, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So we're currently in a public comment, planning commission public comment period.
Say that.
Lots to
I
say.
can't say that.
I can barely get it out once, so ask me to say it 3 times fast. But yeah, so we're currently asking for public comments for the planning commission to review as they make their recommendation to city council. So our public comment period started February 5th, and it goes to a public hearing on March 6th.
Ooh.
So that's a very important date when we want people to know that they can leave comments, they can come to the public hearing and make, a statement before planning commission, and then planning commission will take all of those into account, make any final tweaks to the package, and then make a recommendation to council for adoption at the council level, hopefully sometime early summer.
Wow, I'm sitting here and I feel like an elephant just sat on my chest. When I think about a March 6th hearing and I think about comments, this is a huge undertaking. And you have comments coming from all sides, it feels like, because we're not just commenting on the housing that's available, we're also commenting on the housing that's not available. And that's part of that picture. So Alyssa, how does the community get involved so they can feel heard about the concerns they have?
Yeah, community involvement is super important to this process. We've been working with community throughout the last several years to get to this phase. So we want to thank all the community members that have given feedback and have helped us to get to this point so far. But we're still wanting to hear from folks. Maybe this is your first time hearing about it. We want to hear from you. Or as you've kind of followed the process, like wanting to see additional changes or things to change. So we are putting out lots of different ways that community members can get involved.
Such as?
One is the public hearing. Definitely want to come there.
Show up, speak up.
Speak out. We are also hosting a series of informational events that are starting next week. And so there are multiple opportunities to come and talk with us, to learn a little bit more about the package and to talk with staff about, just understanding and giving feedback and giving comments. We also have some online tools that you can use, which are new for us in this process. You can leave comments on a map, or you can leave comments on, it's called Social Pinpoint. It's kind of like social media for our planning purposes. So you can leave comments based on topics like parking, tree requirements, zoning. So we really are trying to make it accessible and easy for folks to find where to leave comments and to be easily access to leave those comments for us to read and provide to Planning Commission.
You are designing little villages.
Yes.
You're designing, cafe corners. You're designing, we are designing playgrounds, and we are looking at all of this. You said March 6th is when all the comments are due. And you used a word hearing. What does it mean that there's going to be a hearing, and how do those comments work?
Yeah, so public hearing is the 6th. The comments are due on the 8th. So
okay, there we go.
So we want to make sure we have time to do that.
Mm-hmm. You can hear from others too. Hear what other people are saying.
And that's a really important point, because I learn more by listening to what others who have come before me have to say, and I get so many of my questions answered when I'm around those people. Right. So March 6th is the hearing, but March 8th is the last time to comment.
Yes.
How will you sew those two dates together?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's going to be actually there's a lot of interaction that you can do right now.
Okay.
Alyssa mentioned those online tools, which are super cool, and I hope that people will check them out, because one of the neat things is you can see the comments that other people are making. So there's a social pinpoint page where you can see that see the ideas that others are sharing. There's also a map. And zoning is about maps. That's one of the parts of it.
It is.
And you can drop a pin on that map and provide a specific comment about the proposals, the zoning, and other things.
I love that. From everything from elementary schools to gardens to maybe we should have a crosswalk. So when are the informational events, Alyssa?
Yeah, so if you live in Tacoma, you probably have seen this mailer, which has
I have
all
mine.
of the event dates on there. But they start next week with a virtual event on the 20th, so next Tuesday the 20th, and then they are hitting right after that. So we have one on Thursday the 22nd, and then next week, the week after, February the 28th, and then Saturday, March 2nd is the last in-person event, leading up to that March 6th public hearing date, and then that end of comments on the 8th. So we're trying to get people primed and ready to leave those comments, and then at the end we'll package them all up nice and pretty, we'll analyze them, and send them to Planning Commission. So we're really looking forward to hearing from a lot of folks.
So let's talk about this last part. You said you'll send it to the hearing commission. How do we measure this project? What measurements will tell Elliot and Alyssa that you have a successful program? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of different ways to measure that. One of the ways we measure is how many people have been able to be involved and to be engaged. We're happy and grateful that really thousands of people have participated over the last 4 years. So that's just one measure, is how much can people really weigh in and participate. But another is neighborhoods themselves and the housing that's in them. And we know that we're growing. There's a number that we throw out there. There are 60,000 or so new housing units needed in Tacoma over the next 30 years.
Wow.
Seems like a lot, and it is a big number. But so we have metrics like that. How fast are they growing? But there are other types of measures too. How much are they going to cost? And the goal is to have a range of housing costs and choices in every neighborhood.
I love that. Okay, last 30 seconds here. Who do each of you want to thank? We'll go with you first, Alyssa.
Yeah, so for me, I am a former planning commissioner, so I really want to thank the work that the
Yes.
planning commissioners have done to help inform this work, and also our city council who have helped us to get to this point and are kind of pushing us towards this last finish line.
Yeah, and what about you, Elliot?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody who has participated. There's something in this package for everybody. Whatever your issue is, it relates to Home in Tacoma, and people have invested so much energy and time and care into this, and I'm very grateful.
Well, I'm grateful for both of you, and we've been showing the website underneath both of your beautiful faces to go get those dates, and thank you so much for all that you are doing for Tacoma right now.
Thank you, Amanda.
All right, the Comfort Cafe has been filled up again with the Black Night Market beauties. There they are. We're going to do a little bit of moving on to the couch. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back after this quick break.